Ha! Let there be noise. Hi, Ashley. What up?
How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Thanks.
It's snowing right now here, and there might be too much of a glare, but it's snowing.
Yeah, I saw that on your Instagram, and I was just like, what is going on?
Yeah, last night, like, some accumulated. It melted this morning, but now it's more coming.
Wild, because it's like 75 and sunny down here.
Yeah, I'm so jealous.
Cool. And I do think that we are already live on Facebook, which are we good on there? Which I did just because, oh my gosh, not the most techie savvy people over here. We are live. So exciting. Do you want to give your little thing again? No. Bring it over. Go. Oh, go.
Hand is not on mute. No, none of that was on mute. All right, guys. For those who are logging in, we do have Ashley and another guest, Felipe, coming on. Ooh, this is all right, so in order to give them the spotlight, we ask that everybody please keep your microphone muted. If you could, go ahead and we can share the screen, that's fine. But if you have any questions, please just drop them in the chat or put them on Facebook Live. Me, Shobi, and Dan will try to entertain as many of them as possible so Ashley can focus on the presentation. And then I'm sure Ashley will have plenty of time towards the end for any questions like that. That's it.
So well.
Yeah, I forgot what I said something else, but apparently the microphone wasn't on and nobody told me that I was muted. Thanks a lot for that. Yeah, we'll just keep on from there. Oh, no, it's not muted.
It's not muted. It's not muted. Here.
I don't think Felipe is on yet, is he? No, okay.
Yeah, I don't see him. He's still got a few minutes. We were just letting, and honestly, what's that?
His name's on there now. He should be in now.
Perfect. What up, Felipe? Thanks for joining us.
Shelby, what up, y'all?
Hi.
How you doing?
Doing well. Super glad to have you guys.
I was promised beer.
I got you, fam.
Hey, Yingling. What up,
Yeah, only I could push it through the screen for you, but
no worries.
Maybe we'll figure that out for the next one.
That's right. That's right.
Ship it ahead of time. Have Instacart deliver it.
There you go. And we're gonna wait until 3:30, and we will kick it off right at 3:30, and just allow people to join and filter through as need be. We're already live on Facebook, just because I knew if I waited till the last minute, I would definitely screw that up. So I'm gonna mute myself for the next couple minutes and then hop back in at 3:30. Okay?
Ashley, isn't that crazy about my Instagram?
Oh, the fake account.
Yes, bruh. What was that about?
That's funny. That means you're a celebrity. That means you're a celebrity if people are trying to recreate.
Fake my account? Yeah. I applied to get verified on IG. I was like, I'm not going, bruh.
Did you have anyone look at it? Because it was private, right? Did you have anyone look at it and see if there's like actual pictures of you though?
Yeah, there is. There's pictures of me and my son and a bunch of other crap. But I think we got it took down. I'm not sure. I think enough people did whatever to it.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah. We did a lot of my rehab.
Hey, everybody. Felipe's already lagging. Don't leave us. Felipe, can you hear us? What's going on, man? He's like, lagging.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
What up, dude?
Lagging on our end. I just wanted to put out just to everybody else. I think you'll be all right. You out there getting your sunshine. It's all good. For everybody else,
man, I can
help with the bandwidth of the internet. If you guys could turn off your cameras, and then we're going to put ours on speaker view. All right. So even on the Facebook Live, you guys will be able to see Ashley and Felipe, as they speak. All right.
I'm headed to my desk. I got you. 2 minutes. You gotta use when you got kids, you gotta use every minute.
Felipe's doing a house tour for everyone.
You got kids, you gotta use every minute right. What you mean? I'm out here trimming trees. I'm headed to my office. I'm headed in. Leave me alone. All right. I'm headed inside. Hey, babe, will you bring my lunch to the office? I'm gonna be there. Love you, babe. You okay? What? What are you laughing at?
Just seems like it's like, I don't know, taking you forever.
Hush, leave me alone. I'm going. What a day. All right, let's see here. Are you like in your office? You're not even in your office. You're on your computer.
I'm sitting at my dining room table.
Okay, let's see here. Do you have the invitation number? Because I can just type it in and not have to log into Gmail. Join meeting, join. You know what the ID is?
No, I don't. I'll send you the link though.
It's 849
Got it.
651 651 998.
It's in the calendar invite I sent you. It's in there.
All right, guys.
What would I do without the whip?
It is 3:30 and I love to start on the dot. So we are going to get rolling. Thank you everyone for joining us for this month's episode of Pints and Properties, now that we are semi-virtual. Hopefully next month we'll be back to real life, but we will keep you guys posted on that. I just want to go over 3 quick notes before introducing our guest speakers and getting rolling. The first, so I've been posting a little bit about this and I just want to re-emphasize that we are trying to take Pints and Properties, worldwide, take over everything. So if you want to start a Pints and Properties in your local area, hit me up. We have a super simple checklist for you guys to just run down and follow the steps and kick it off in your area. So let me know about that. The next one is, if you do not have our action steps to becoming a successful real estate investor, hit me up about those. It's a super, obviously we're all about checklists. Everyone loves a good checklist. So really simple way of laying your foundation as well for yourself personally, as well as your education and getting your baseline foundational stuff set up before diving into becoming a real estate investor. And then the last thing real quick is Pillars Consulting Program is live. So if you are an investor agent out there and you want to build the systems to become an investor savvy real estate agent who can do more deals with less clients, let us know, because that is our jam right now. And without further ado, I would like to introduce our guest speakers for today. They are none other than Ashley and Felipe, the hosts of the Bigger Pockets Real Estate Rookie Podcast. And they are going to be talking to us about partnerships. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We're really stoked to have you.
Yeah, we are really excited to be here. I wish we were in person though. I just canceled my flights this week.
It's okay. It will happen soon.
Yeah.
The
floor is all yours, guys.
What's going on, everyone? I just want to say hi. If you guys have Instagram, you can follow me at Felipe Mejia, REI. And I'll give $100 to every person that unfollows Ashley. That would be great, because I'm trying to outdo her with followers. So let's get that. That's how partnerships work, right, Ashley? Or is that wrong? That's not right, is it?
Especially now that you get that fake account pretending to be you. That really, if you combine the two, that really boosted your following.
Look, first of all, he got 1,000 followers in like one day. And I was like, it took me forever to get 7. What the heck? So that was not fun. Someone out there faked my account and it was quite scary. But yeah, thanks. Shelby, thank you so much for inviting us to talk about partnerships and how all that works. I can talk a little bit about my partnerships, and Ashley, if you want to, talk a little bit about yours, we can just go from there.
yeah, let's go through our format with talking about like what you're missing and maybe why you should get a partnership first. Let's start there.
Sure.
With that. But so one thing that Felipe and I wrote a blog post about this, and we've been like writing a lot about partnerships and discussing it. So one thing that we think is really essential is why do you need a partner? Why would somebody need a partner? So some of those things could be you are missing an element of investing. So time, money, experience, and knowledge. You have a fear. You want to share, that you want someone to help you. You want that security blanket to have someone with you. So the first thing is to figure out why you need a partner, and then how to get that partner, and then how you can be a good partner, right? And I know Felipe loves this the most, as I'm more of like, how can I find that partner who's the right partner for me? How can I provide an opportunity to them? But he's all about, you need to be a good partner in order to find a good partner. So do you want to talk about that first?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
How to be a good partner yourself.
Yeah, so I believe real strongly in, you have to be a good partner in order to find a good partner. And I think it's just kind of like the law of attraction, right? I mean, it's something that's there. But basically, I was not able to find a good partner, and I tried. I had good deals, I had good money, I had everything good. I couldn't find a good partner because I was so focused on finding a good partner that I wasn't becoming one myself. So it came across as that, like, oh, I really want to be able to use Ashley for my advantage. That's already a bad way to start, right? But if you're like, hey, dude, I'm really good at working with contractors. I'm excellent at flipping properties. Tenant relation is my niche. Like, this is what I can do. I need someone that can help me with Excel sheets. Anyone that's really good with that is going to be like, wow, that's a lot of value that Felipe brings to the table. I want to be able to partner with that guy. It's kind of like the I don't know if you guys have seen on Instagram, like the picture of the cat. Like when you're running after the cat with food, like it's going to run away. But when you sit still, have the food, and you're prepared, cat's going to come to you. Same concept. If you're going to get a good partner, you need to first hone in on what you're good at. Super, super sharpen that. Don't try to get good at something you're not good at. If you're not good at running Excel sheets, don't pay $100,000 to go learn how to do that. Find a partner that's really good at that, and sharpen the skills that you're already good at. Like, that's what I do. I sharpen the skills that I'm already good at, and I don't try to learn something new, right? It's like, this is what I'm good at. I'm going to do like really, really good at that. And I'm just going to find a partner that's really, really good at something that I'm really, really bad at. So when you are excellent at your craft, you're going to find a partner that's excellent at their craft, and you guys are going to mesh. And all my partners have been very successful because of that. You hear horror stories about partnerships and stuff. I literally haven't had one horror story. All of mine are fantastic, and I love writing that check to my partners at the end of the month.
We haven't been podcast host partners for very long yet. The horror story hasn't come yet.
Look, y'all, Ashley Slick hates me. I promise y'all she does. She's jelly of my looks.
So Felipe kind of touched on this a little bit, but you wanna be an opportunity for them. You want to have that great deal that they come to you to almost ask to be your partner. You don't want to make it seem like you're begging. You need them, because really, if you find a good deal, you know what you're doing, or you have money, you have the time, the knowledge, experience, any of that, you are of value. And when I had my first partner, I just put a little, bug in his ear of what I wanted to do. Didn't even say anything about, would you be my partner? I need money. Can you give me some? I just showed him the numbers. And I really believe in giving it full disclosure. Give as much information to someone as possible. If you want to partner with them, show them that you're an open book. So for this one guy that wanted to do a deal with me, I put together a binder. For the binder, I put together all of the properties I had purchased, photos of them, bigger pocket calculator reports for each of them to show how they were cash flowing. I showed how I was financing each of them. I showed any money I put into them. And then I also included copies of my tax returns, copies of my personal financial statement. I included copies of deals that I was currently looking at that maybe he could invest in. And I put this all into a binder. And the one mistake I did was I printed a color copy and a black and white copy. When I handed him the binder at our meeting, he was upset I gave him the black and white copy and not the color copy. So make 2 colored copies. But he found it very interesting that just looking at all my information, and that I wasn't going to try to hide anything from him, because right off the bat, I was already open and honest. And that is a huge thing with finding a partner, is you want to build that trust with each other. You need to trust them, and you need to be able to stand them. Like, getting along with them is definitely a huge issue too.
Yeah, I would add one last thing to that is make sure you guys have common goals, right? Because if you're looking at a property and your intention is to rent it and his is to flip it, it's not gonna work. So I mean, that's an obvious one, right? But what about you're like, hey, I want to buy and hold for 10 years. I want to buy and hold for 20 years. There's a gap there. You have to be super intentional that both of you guys' goals align perfectly. I don't mean like halfway or maybes or this, that, or the other. It's like, no, it's like, if they don't align perfectly, dude, I wouldn't even do it, because this is going to be your emotion, your feelings, your money into it. And you guys have to be on the same plan, on the same trajectory, so much so that, I mean, it looks like you're just one person. So if me and Ashley are looking to do a property and we're like, hey, we want $20,000 for this flip, that is our goal. 30 days, we're going to go 50-50. We're outlining, and both parties have to be super comfortable with that, right? So make sure that your goals align for what your partnership looks like. It can be in anything. So that's the last thing I'll add to that.
Yeah, we like to recommend you have alignment meetings. So include your spouse in that meeting too, because your spouse has a great impact on your life and what's going forward, because their voice matters in this. And if you don't think that their voice matters in this, well, if you get divorced and you live in a 50-50 state, their voice will definitely matter in 50% of your business. So it's important to have those alignment meetings, quarterly, monthly, yearly, to make sure that you and your partner are on the same path, and you want to continue that way, because you might have agreed at one point that this is what you guys want. You keep going forward. Well, maybe one partner all of a sudden, has a wife, kids, and can no longer, travel to, find out estate properties or something like that. And his goals might be shifting, but you still want to keep going the same way. So instead of having fights and, a breakup because you're going in different directions, have those alignment meetings. So as you keep going forward, your goals are still aligned with each other.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's gold. Building a partnership is going to, one of the reasons you also want to make sure that you're careful with who you're partnering with, and if they align with your goals. You don't want to build 4 different bridges and none of them be completed. You want to have one bridge at a time be completed, if you will. And if your partner doesn't positively affect your goal, then he's going to negatively affect that bridge, and you're not going to be able to build it. It's really important to know that. I'll give you another example. If I'm going to the gym and one of my buddies is like, hey, I want to go work out with you. I'm like, all right, that's cool. And he's like, and we get there and he's, in a swimmer's thong. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I thought we were going to work out. Like, I'm squatting today, bro. Like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I thought I came to the gym to go swimming. And it's like, no, so if you don't talk about that prior, you're going to end up at the gym with your friend in a thong. Oh, come on. That's funny. Does everyone muted? Like, I'm not used to this. I'm used to like people cracking up, and like, I'm really good at this, guys. You guys are all muted.
We all have them muted with their freaking videos off. People are dying laughing. You're hilarious.
Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm used to like my mastermind where like
get on their Insta stories later, Felipe.
Yes,
Everyone,
yeah.
All right, so
them laughing
you
at
guys,
great.
you guys get the concept, okay? Like, if you don't have the same goal, you might get to the same destination with different views, and that's going to be very, very bad, and that's going to crash and burn very fast. So just make sure you have the common goal, because like, if I just call Ashley, I'm like, hey girl, let's go work out, and all right, cool, and we get there and we're in different outfits, yeah, we both made it to the gym, but we're not happy, right? Or what's going on, right? Or we might have to separate. But if we both go with the same goal, then we're going to be able to do great in the gym, and that looks at business or whatever. So yeah.
So the next thing to look at is the assets and liabilities of each other. What are your strengths and weaknesses? You don't want to partner with someone who has the same strengths as you, and then there's a weakness. There's a weakness that's just left behind because neither of you. So it's better to figure out ahead of time what your strengths and weaknesses are and play off of that with each other. So for
That's exactly right.
My strength is the bookkeeping. I was doing the leasing, finding the properties, running the numbers. That's my strength. And then he's the hands-on guy. He's the rehab, the construction side of it. So when you are seeking a partner, kind of look at, you know, what you are missing, what you need, and who is strong, who has a strong suit in that area that can fulfill that need for you. And also, what can you do for them, the strength that you have. Oh, I think Felipe froze. Must be eating.
No, I'm eating. Sorry, guys. Okay, so check this out. I maximize my time. And if that looks like having to spend, you know, a minute eating here, just letting you know. But look, I see Christy eating too. I bet that chip tastes real good. Heck yeah. Let's go. Awesome. Hey guys, I just want to let you guys know we're real people, guys. We're not like, you know, I want to build that connection with every single one of you guys. And I want you guys to know that, you know, I'm a regular guy. I'm just trying to help you guys out and kind of have you explain.
With everyone, you would have had food delivered to us too. So
first of all, I heard this was a beer and I didn't get no beer. So no,
okay,
no. You could have shipped me a beer. You could have Amazon, Google, somebody would call me a beer.
When partnering with someone, should you build contingencies in for exit strategies? And if so, do you have examples of these exit strategies, specifically for buy and hold properties? That is a great question.
Good question.
So let's talk about structuring partnerships, different ways. And I will say right off the bat, there is no right or wrong way to actually structure a partnership. There's many different ways. Yeah, one might be in favor of the other person than you. So for my first deal, I received a lot of criticism off it that it was, you know, super great for my partner and not for me. And I actually put it together. So for the first property I ever purchased, he had the money and I had the experience, the knowledge, and the time. So when we bought the first property, we were 50-50 partners on that property. We formed an LLC. We were 50% each. He put in the money to purchase that property, a cash offer. The LLC then paid him a monthly mortgage payment. So he was getting his principal paid back every month and 5.5% interest. So he was not only getting that monthly payment with principal and interest, he was also getting 50% of the cash flow too. So people look at me like, you did all the work. He did nothing but put the money in and you're paying him interest and equity. But if I didn't offer him such a sweet deal, you know, who would have taken their time with me who had never bought a property before? So it doesn't mean that it was wrong. I mean, now I'm super grateful. We have a bunch of properties together and I've grown just because I finally took action and bought that first property. So don't think there's ever a wrong way to work a deal. It's whatever works for you and works for your partner. Felipe,
that's exactly right.
One of the ways that you've structured your deals or your partnership.
Look, y'all, she knows that I'm almost done with my burrito, so she called me out. So I structure my deals real fun. What I do is I do a 70-30 split. Once the house is full, we go 50-50. Now I'll explain. I like to invest with out-of-state investors. I don't want them all up in my cookies when I'm getting this property done because they're going to freak out. So I go with out-of-state people. I build a relationship with them. And then basically what I do is, like, let's say that I'm in partner with Joe Schmo. Joe Schmo brings the money. He gets the debt, and then I put my name on the title. And about 70% of the liability is his and 30% is mine. Once I'm done with rehab construction and we got a full house of tenants, then we go 50-50 split down the road, right? That's a really sweet deal because for them, it's like, oh, okay, I'll just put 70% down. I don't got to worry about anything until the construction's done. Full house of tenants, I handle the tenants, I handle the subs, I handle everything. And then we go 50-50 on it when we're done. So for me, that's someone that has money that wants to invest in me. Who do I have money? Sure. But they're willing to invest their money in me because that's what they have. And I have the time and the resources. So I had a question one time about a young lady who she was like, man, I'm a CPA. I'm really good at what I do. I know all the subs in the area. I got all this that I can do. I just don't have time, Felipe, or I just don't have the money. I was like, so I feel like an inferior partner. And I said, not only are you wrong, you're dead wrong. You have time. You're a CPA. You have all the subs. You have everything that someone needs. I guarantee you the person that has money is going to feel inferior to you because you have everything. All they got is some money to give you, right? So don't ever down yourself because you have a different type of, you're bringing something different to the table than someone else. Someone might have time. Someone might have money. Somebody might haven't been doing this longer. Like, don't count any of that against you. What you bring to the table is just as valuable. If not, sometimes I would say that time is more valuable than money. I bet a lot of you guys agree with that, right? How many of you guys would like to drop 50 grand and get 500 bucks a month for the rest of your life? I know I would, right? So that's the way these people see me. They're like, oh, Felipe's going to give me 500 bucks a month and I got 50 grand. And then we can refi 4 or 5 years, get my money back out. It's free and clear all day. But I have the time. So I was telling the young lady that was talking about that, I was like, look, time is, I sometimes think, more valuable than money. So whatever you bring to the table, make sure you have it down tight and use that as leverage towards what you don't have. Now, if I come to Ashley all shy and be like, hey, Ashley, all I got is time, I'm not confident in myself, she's going to be like, I don't know. But I'm like, hey, Ashley, I got time, I got the contracts, I got the flip, I got the property. All I need you is drop 40 bands. And I'm going to write you basically a check after 3 months for 600 bucks for, until we refi, then I'll give you your money back out and we'll continue to do it together. Of course she's going to do it, right? But you have to know your skill set, whatever it is, be super, super good at it and confident, and use that. If it's not money, it's whatever it is that you do have, right?
Yeah. So once you figure out what you want to do and what your the offer is to the partner, or how you're going to structure the partnership, put together an operating agreement. Even if you don't create an LLC right away, or however you're going to structure it, put everything in writing. You want to have that operating agreement stating what's going to be happening now. Okay, so upon the first purchase, who's putting the money in? Are you going to refinance right away? Who is responsible for leasing? Who's responsible for the bank account? All those things. Put as much information as you can down on paper, even if it's just attached to the operating agreement, just a list of who's responsible for what. But not only worry about what's happening now, but what's going to happen in the future. So what happens if one partner passes away? Well, at least in New York State, that person's family wouldn't, inherit their ownership. Well, now you're partners with the wife who, has never done anything with real estate and decides she just wants to sell her shares, but you don't have enough money to buy her out. Okay, so that's a very, that could very easily happen. Or somehow you're put into a situation, they get divorced, and now that wife, could potentially become the owner of those shares. So one thing I highly recommend is putting in those exit strategies, which was the question here. So write down what happens if, and you hate to be a pessimist and, oh, if I'm going to get divorced, this is what happens. You don't want to think about that, but write it down and put that into the operating agreement. So one thing you can do if a partner passes away is put life insurance policies in place. So the best way to do this, and I've done it for my partnerships, is you have your LLC be the owner of the policy. Okay, so then you take a policy out on another person, and the beneficiary would be me. So I'm taking one out on my partner, and if he passed away, I would use those funds to buy out my iPad. Sometimes, I don't know if you guys heard that. Sometimes my iPad thinks I'm saying her name and she starts talking, but I would use those funds to buy my partner's family out. So they would get their money from the ownership. I didn't have any money out of my pocket. It was the life insurance policy that paid that. So that is definitely one thing to put in there. And then since you have your LLC, the owner of the policy, it will pay the premium every year. You can pay it and have it as a tax write-off. Felipe, when you're done chewing there, what's another exit strategy that you have?
Whoa, what's with the hostility? Whoa. No,
I didn't mean it.
I love Ashley, guys. We banter all day.
No, I wasn't watching you, so I didn't know you were chewing.
Dude, you said she low-key hated you. I don't think it's that low-key.
It's not low-key at all. She hates me.
Just, I do all of his Amazon orders, everyone. So anytime he wants to order anything off Amazon, he has to text me to order it.
Oh my God. I believe it. That's smart.
Facts. That's facts. That's not one of my strong suits. Like I feel like I mess up my order all the time. I've literally sent stuff to rental properties. I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible. So anyways, I can't figure. Yeah, I've sent stuff to rental properties. I'm like, dang it, that's my book. Like, dang it, now I gotta go get it. Anyways, actually, fun fact, I had my mic and all my real estate rookie stuff sent to the wrong house. It's a really expensive stuff, and I had to go pick it up at a rental property. It was terrible. Exit strategies. Okay, so one of the biggest things that I hone in on is goals, and making sure that you and your partner have the exact same goal, and your exit strategy has to be the same as well. So you obviously don't want to hold a property for 30 years with a partner. 30 years is a long time to have that as a goal with a partner. So like Ashley was saying earlier, you should have every 6 months to a year, have meetings and say, hey, are we still on the same goal? And if not, what is the new goal for the property? You don't want to get 5 years down the road and find out that your goals don't align anymore with your partner. So an exit strategy is nice, but they're only good as long as it's being revisited. Any exit strategy. I'm going 30,000 foot view. Pick your exit strategy. Doesn't matter. My foot grew more this year. Let's sell the property. I don't care. What I care about is that you meet with your partner every 6 months to a year and make sure that your goals still align. And then you update your operating agreement to reflect that every 6 months to a year. Trust me, it's worth the cost of fixing it, because you're going to be like, dude, you know what? I really want to go on a vacation next year. Can we sell the property? No, let's not sell it. I'll tell you what if I give you 6 months of your cash flow up front and we keep the property and then we revisit back after 6 months? Perfect. It solves the problem. So it's about solving those issues with your partner and having that open conversation, right? So pick an exit strategy. There's thousands. I can give you a book of exit strategies. That doesn't mean anything if both you and your partner's exit strategies don't match. Does that make sense? So that is the most important part. Making sure your goals align, your exit strategy align. And we can talk about shotgun clauses and we can talk about all these things that can work. But if you and your partner's goals don't align, what if you want to sell and I don't? What if the cash flow is worth it to me, but not you anymore? What if you want to buy a car in the next 6 months because you had a baby? You know what? I'll front you the 6 months of cash flow, but I'm going to keep the cash flow until we get to that point. So those are the things that you need to be flexible on when you do that, right? For example, I think the last 2 months, me and my partners only took out 50% of the cash flow because of COVID-19, and we want to leave the rest of it in there just in case something happens. Nothing happens, we pay ourselves out in 6 months, a nice little bonus. I'll take my wife out for a nice steak. Make sense? So you have those constant conversations with your partners to make sure that you're in a good stance.
Right. And you can always change it too. It's not like that is set in stone forever. And like you did just because of COVID, you changed it just for this short period of time. So you can make those small, changes at any time. But I think it was, you had told me this, how for partners, and I haven't done this. So I have one partner that I'm 50-50 everything for. We do 50% of the work we do, that can be hard to track. So you really have to, be okay with things not being exactly equal all the time. But also what you do is you each put in the money ahead of time, and you put in more money than you actually need to purchase that property. So going forward, all of a sudden this property needs a new roof. It's going to be $30,000. Well, you've only owned this property a year. There's not, $30,000 sitting in the bank account for your LLC. So what they do is they put in money in advance. Let's do an example, like say 150,000, you purchase property for 100,000, and you have that 50,000 sitting there as your reserves. Correct? Is that how you do it?
Yeah, so what we do is basically, it's like if me and Ashley are going to get in bed together, that sounded weird. If me and Ashley are going to get into a partnership together and buy a property, what we do is, look, Crystal over there is laughing at us. I see you, bro. I love the baby. I love babies. I got a 2-year-old. Okay, so if we have a property together, then what we're going to do is, you know what, actually, this is 50-50 everything, but I'd also like for both of us to put 10K into the account in case something happens going forward. And then if something does happen big, then our money's already there. It's not like, hey, Ashley, do you have $3,244 because that's your half and we got to do this. And if you don't do it, you don't want that. So it's really important to look forward with your partner as well. And if your partner doesn't have a couple $1,000s to put into the account in case something does happen, you probably don't want to get into a partnership with that person anyways. So look at the things that are potential. I'll tell you a really easy way to do that. When you get a home inspection, ask your home inspector what he thinks the next 10 things that need to get done within the next year are. Add all that up, divide it in half. That's what she needs to put in. That's what I need to put in. Very simple. Actually, you don't do a home inspection more, but I use my home inspection for a ton of different things. Like, I just think they're really important. Like, not because whether I'm going to buy it or not. I know whether I'm going to buy a property or not way before I even have the inspection, but I use the inspection as like for a bunch of different things.
If you listen
nothing to do with
this episode of The Real Estate Rookie, we are having a home inspector on, Rose Buckley, where you can find out more information.
Ashley does all the plugs for our Real Estate Rookie show because like I'm really terrible at it. And she puts on this like radio voice. She's like, on the Real Estate Rookie Show, make sure. And look, now she's gonna be all self-conscious about it. But anyways,
I'll still do it. Yeah. So we have another question here. Let me make sure I didn't miss any. Okay. If you do structure the partnership with an LLC, can you still use the BRRRR strategy for the refinance portion?
So it depends on the bank.
Yeah, so it depends on the bank. I have found one small local bank, I think they have 5 branches, that will actually do a residential mortgage to an LLC. You can definitely still do the BRRRR strategy with a commercial mortgage. You're just not getting as good of terms as you would on the residential side. But yeah, you would just do your refinance on the commercial side instead, and know ahead of time, what that term would be. Is it a 5-year fixed amortized over 15 years? And what's the percentage rate for that? And before you purchase that property, make sure that you're running your numbers using that financing scenario.
Exactly right.
Is there one person responsible for distributions, or is there a single account and the partners just have at it? I think that really depends on you and your partner.
Yeah, well, the way I do it is we have a joint bank account here in Nashville. We both have access to it. We pay distributions with a check so that there's record. Since I suck at Excel and all that and whatever other systems my partners use, I just take a picture of my check, picture of his check, and then I mail out my check. Or I'm sorry, I mail out his check. I keep my check, deposit my check. He has the receipt for both. He gets his check 2 days later. And then we have record of every month of what our distributions is. We don't try to get fancy. We're not like using all these like oh, you got to get it, like just write a check to each other. Both of you guys' names are on the account, so you can't close the account or whatever. And yeah, if you don't trust your partner to have access to their bank account for you, that's probably something you don't want to have as a partner anyway. So, but yeah, everyone has access. Me and my partner both have access to the bank account. And then if there's any expense that needs to be made, just take a picture of the receipt, send it over. He uploads it to GDocs, and then we'll go from there. I'm sure Ashley has a fancy way, a better way to do it, but I'm really like 1, 2, 3, real easy.
Well, for mine,
fancy way.
We have a bank accounts in the LLC's name, but I don't think either of my partners are on the account. They might be on the account, but they've never done anything. They've never signed a check or written a check. I handle all of the bookkeeping as part of my responsibility, and they both get their monthly payments direct deposited. It's bill pay direct deposited into their bank accounts each month. So I don't even have to do anything for that. And then for any expenses right now, I take care of writing the checks or doing that out of the account. But as of right now, neither one of my partners actually have the online banking password. They just don't care. They trust me. And
they must be guys.
Yeah, it is.
I knew it. I knew it.
And I will send them every once in a while reports. I love doing spreadsheets and different charts and stuff, and I will send them an update. But they don't even open the emails and look at them. But I still send my due diligence, do my part. So
someone called me a sexist for probably a guy. You'd be strong. But yeah, I mean, it is, and that's something that I talk about with my partners prior to getting a deal together. I'm like, hey, dude, this is what I'm good at, and then I just label everything, and I'm gonna do this because that's just what I do. And I find partners that are strong to my weaknesses. And I have a partnership with Diego Corzo, and we have a property here together, and he handles all the finances and all that. The only thing I do really is write the check. But I just send him all the receipts. And since we've started, I don't think I've looked at anything once because it just stresses me out anyways. And if he showed me everything that he's got, I'd be like, oh my God, that's insane. I have no idea what any of that looks like. My wife looks at it more than I do. So I basically just focus on what I'm good at, and I have to trust him enough to know that it's going good. Do we have things in place where we're going to meet quarterly and talk about it? Sure. And he'll explain it to me, and that'll be fine. But I have to trust my partner enough to know that I don't have to look at the bank account every 7 days to see, that no money's been stolen or anything like that. Can it happen? Sure. I'm sure it can. But I think we both have, a ton of responsibility in the property for something like that to happen.
Do you store your CapEx maintenance money you put aside separately? for my LLCs with partners, we just keep it in the regular checking account. And then I have my own separate reserves, and he has his own separate reserves. But we don't have like a separate savings account or anything for the LLC for the partnerships. Is that the same with you, Felipe?
Yep. So just leave the money in the account. If the cash flow is $10, then we pay ourselves $7, and then we leave the rest in the account. Just, let it grow month to month, and then go from there. Anything over $5,000, probably call insurance on, as long as the deductible is worth it. So that's just kind of how we run that.
Okay. Yeah, that was
What other questions do you guys have? Or Shelby, what do you got?
So I knew a couple days ago, actually, some new investors were asking me, there's 4 of them, and they just created an LLC, and they were like, how should we divvy up the responsibilities? And I know you guys talked about what your strengths and weaknesses are, but they were talking about more generally. So like acquisition, running numbers, so can you guys go over just some baseline of categories that they should consider when setting that up?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to take it, Ashley, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I'll start, and then you can fill in the holes that I miss. So the first
thing. Let me go get my shovel.
Is finding the deal. Okay, so who's gonna do that? So that's right, like you said, the acquisitions part of it. Who's gonna run the numbers on the deal, submit it to the other people? Then there's a lot of paperwork, and there's a lot of follow-up that can happen from, from even analyzing deals until you actually close on a property. So who's going to be involved in that portion of that too? And then if you're going to do a rehab, who's going to be in charge of the rehab? Who's going to be in charge of the leasing and the property management? So I would do, acquisitions, rehab, leasing, property management, and then the accounting, bookkeeping. Off the top of my head, those would be like the 4 main areas that I can think of. Is there any more you could think of, Felipe?
Yep. So the way we do it, I mean, Ashley's not wrong, and there's different ways to do this. But personally, the way we put out tasks is not based on who's going to work more. So go ahead and get that out of your head now. I'm not going to work more than my business partner is. I'm not going to do this more than that the other. That's not how this works. It works based on strengths and weaknesses and what's best for the business, because that's what you're doing. I don't care if you're out there cutting the grass and he's working on Excel sheets, because that's how it works. I'm out there cutting the grass because that's what I'm good at. That's what I love to do. I love to get on my zero tone, crank some music on, and go at it. And Diego gets to sit in a cool office and do Excel sheets. Am I complaining about me having to work out in the sun and he gets it? No, right? Because that's not what's best for the business. What's best for the business is for me to do what I'm good at and him to do what he's good at. I'm not looking at, Diego spent 7.5 hours and da-da-da-da, and I spent 12 hours on this side, so that's not fair. So Diego's, you suck already if that's what you're doing. You're failing and you don't even know it, right? If that's what you're doing in a partnership, you suck, you're failing, you're going to go broke, and you don't even know it yet. So don't do that. What you need to do is, what are your strengths? Hone in on that and do that to the best of your ability as what's best for the business. And you have to trust your partner to be doing the same thing, period. So that is how I deal with partnership. Like those 4 people that asked Shelby, we're creating an LLC. I'd say, let's figure out what our SMART goals are, what our SMART goals are, right? Let's find our DISC profile, and then let's see what we are good at, and let's deviate. That's how we're going to have our who has to do what. Because what if I suck at Excel sheets and I get hit with that? It's going to be terrible for the business. It's going to be terrible. So you don't want me doing that, right? So you guys need to figure out what you're good at, bring that to the table, and everyone bring what they're good at to the table and say this, and then that's how you deviate the work.
Yeah, and another way you can do it too, instead of like, okay, so each partner is 25% of those 4 partners, and instead of trying to say like, okay, your rehab, so that's 25% of the cash flow, your property management, that's 25%. You can still divvy up everyone into their percentage, but that can be passive. So then when someone takes on the role as property manager, they're paid a property management fee. And I actually did that with one of my partners when I managed all the properties. So I got 50% of the cash flow, and I got a management fee every month. So that way, if one partner, it's not working for them, another partner could easily take on that responsibility. It doesn't change, the equity position, and you just pay that out. If one partner is going to cut the grass every month, maybe pay, he gets an extra $50 or whatever that you would pay someone else to do that job. So you can also look at, if you were all passive, what would it cost to hire out all of these jobs? If someone's gonna be doing the rehab, but pay them to do the rehab instead of yourself. So that's another way you could do it, is kind of start at the baseline is everyone is passive, you know, at an equal percentage. If, you know, they're putting in the money or however you're doing that, and then you just pay out for whatever those responsibilities are. Then, you know, Felipe and I both agree on, like, you don't want to track each other's time, making sure everyone is, you know, working the same amount. But if you can pay each other hourly if you really feel more comfortable doing that way, or you think that that's something you might run into trouble with. You could do that as, okay, this person spent, you know, 10 hours on bookkeeping, and we pay $10 per an hour for bookkeeping, and this person this month is getting that. You can structure it that way if you'd like to, if you're not comfortable with just, you know, trying to everyone equally doing a job, because I think it's hard to figure out stuff that is, you know, perfectly equal for different tasks. So
yeah, I don't think Ashley's wrong at all. I just don't want to create more work for myself. So I'm not checking on Diego all the time to see what he's doing or whatever. I'm not a fancy investor. I don't know what you guys, if you know a lot about me or not, but I'm just not like super fancy and like do all these things. Like basically, if I were to say, okay, Diego, we would pay an accountant $10 an hour to do that, like that would just drive me nuts. Now Ashley's really good at that, so that might be good for her, right? So you need to find out what your strengths are. It goes back to that, and it goes back to your goal. Are you and your partner's goal to have as much cash flow as possible? Then why wouldn't I cut the grass for all the properties and we save $500 that month in cash flow and we divvy that? Like, do we have common goals? Why would I want to pay an accountant if Diego is going to do it for free and then we have more cash flow? Now, like Ashley said, though, if your goal is passive, you don't want to do, then maybe you do it that way and you're okay with a little less cash flow. Maybe you make $100,000 a month and you lose $30,000 of that to taxes. So you don't care about the cash flow, you care about the depreciation on the property, right? So figure out what your goals are and then go from there. Me and Diego's goal is just period cash flow. We do everything we can. For us, we're not, the word passive is thrown around so much. We are passive investors and we're in for cash flow, but I have time to do some of these things. So why not cut the grass and all my partners make money? When they make money, I make money, right? So we all got to make money.
And I love all of that. And I think it's very interesting because that is a great perspective. And it's so different than another perspective that is also great for different people. So like Mike, Dan, and I invest together, and we're very much opposite. We leverage everything possible. We leverage our bookkeeping, we leverage our landscaping. So he's completely right, guys, in the fact of like, you guys have to be honest with yourselves and identify strengths and weaknesses, and whatever makes sense for your business is the way that you should absolutely execute. Do not fight your natural tendencies. I also love how you talked about the DISC. We're huge on DISC and huge on Myers-Briggs. One of the key takeaways from today is that you hate Excel. Love that. So fun.
But does that make me a bad businessman? No, that just
not
means
at
that
all.
I have a partner that's better at it than me. Do I suck because I can't order from Amazon, but Ashley can? No, I leverage Ashley.
yeah.
Love it. I love it all. And so at this point, do you guys have anything else that you wanted to hit on in regards to key points?
I just
No,
Ashley, like the operating agreement and, you know, having the life insurance policy is put together a buy-sell agreement too, as to, you know, what happens, and that kind of ties into the exit strategies. So what happens when, you know, if you want to buy the other person out or they want to sell. So if you like just Google that, you'll find a lot of information on samples of buy-sell agreements. But that's another important thing to have for putting together partnerships.
Hey, on that note, so Mike Glaspie is our version of Felipe. So I was going to let him, he's way more fun than me, hop on and close us up.
I hate Excel too. I truly do. I detest it. But first and foremost, hey, thank you so much, Ashley and Felipe, for coming out and sharing the knowledge. And thanks for everybody who came and actually joined in. And just to kind of recap some of those hot spots, some of those key things that we talked about for partnership. One, you got to communicate up front, and you want to align all your goals to make sure that you're going, you know, towards the same objective. Set your roles and responsibilities up front. Structure your business plan, the operating agreement, the buy-sell agreement, everything that Ashley just mentioned towards the end, and then automate your systems, whatever that is. Excel spreadsheet, automatic drafts, timesheets, whatever it is. And then Felipe said, absolutely do not do this or you will fail, is hold everybody accountable for the time that they put in towards an actual specific labor, right? The time, right? Because we're all working. We're all out here grinding. We're doing the same thing. So it was great stuff, guys. Great stuff. These guys are crushing it. If you are not already following them, the Bigger Pockets Real Estate Rookies podcast is blowing up. It's one of the newest podcasts. Please go out there, give them some love, share, like, comment, subscribe to their channel as well. And without further ado, guys, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you
Bye,
very much.
guys. Thanks for having us. Next time you guys owe me a beer.
I got you.
Yeah, we got you. Okay, do we want to actually end this? Oh, it's not on mute. Whatever.